Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Late Tuesday night, the fellas will not miss an opportunity to talk Texas A&M and what they are doing in the transfer portal as Mike Elko and the Aggies land another commitment, this one coming from former Alabama cornerback Dez Ricks, a guy that what excites you the most is probably 4 years of eligibility remaining and a physical set of tools that you can't really teach, right? Dez Ricks, coming out of high school, was a five-star cornerback in the 2024 class, reclassifies to 2023, and a guy that, again, you look at the physical tool set that he has, running a 4.5 40 coming out of high school, a 39-inch vert, 6'1", 180 pounds, very good length, a guy that's a box checker, and a guy that has an extremely high ceiling as a cornerback at the collegiate football level. And you look at Mike Elko and what he's doing in this cornerback room, specifically in the transfer portal, it is very evident Mike Elko, one, looked at that Texas A&M roster and said, there's a lot of good aspects of this Texas A&M team heading into 2024. One of the weak spots, and we saw that in the bowl game against Oklahoma State, was that cornerback room was young, inexperienced, and quite frankly, just lacked some talent. And Mike Elko has gotten to work in addressing that heading into the 2024 year. Dez Ricks, the most recent one. I want to talk Dez Ricks, talk about what he brings to this Texas A&M secondary room, and then talk about what Mike Elko has done in the portal thus far. Before we get into it again, just want to say thank you to you guys. And this Texas A&M program it's really just been a blast to talk about over the last couple of weeks, a ton of commitments. I've been having a blast breaking these commitments down. The amount of support you guys have shown really does mean a lot. If you guys do enjoy the content and enjoy the updates, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys. And without further ado, let's get into Dez Ricks. And you see the ranking coming out of the portal, the number 3 cornerback available, top 16 player available nationally. And again, it's for good reason, because from a physical tool set, Dez Ricks kind of checks all the boxes. And you'll see some people saying, well, he didn't play much at Alabama as a true freshman. How good can he be? You take a look at Alabama in their cornerback room in 2023, and they had Terrion Arnold, Kool-Aid McKinstry, 2 guys of which are going to go in the first round of the NFL draft in a couple of months. Just because Dez Ricks did not play as a true freshman for the Alabama Crimson Tide does not mean that he's not a very good football player. And on top of that, he reclassified from that 2024 class to 2023. So there was some physical development that still needed to take place. And if you're Mike Elko, Dez Ricks got that form, that player development during his redshirt year at Alabama. Now comes to Texas A&M with 4 years of eligibility, and this guy that's going to come into that cornerback room and really just elevate the floor. And you take a look at this cornerback class that Mike Elko has brought in. One thing that we've really continued to talk about through the duration of this transfer portal cycle for Mike Elko is how good he is at not only developing guys in the back end, but how good he is at identifying talent in the transfer portal, right? When his time was at Duke, he went into the transfer portal, got numerous guys in the back end of that defense that turned out to be all ACC guys. So that one speaks to the player development that Mike Elko has. That is the reason that he gets hired to College Station. But more importantly, his talent evaluation of guys coming out of the transfer portal, I think, is top notch. That was one of the reasons I was so high on Mike Elko heading to Texas A&M, and I think he absolutely crushes it with Dez Ricks. You have a guy that has 4 years of eligibility. Now, I want to focus on that because I think the large narrative of the transfer portal is landing guys to immediately impact your roster in 2024. And although I think Dez Ricks certainly has the capability to do so, Dez Ricks is also a building block for Mike Elko. So not only is this upgrading your roster in 2024, but you look to the 2025 and 2026 season, this makes your team better for years to come. I think that's why Dez Ricks was one so coveted out of the transfer portal, and why I think Texas A&M fans should be very excited about Dez Ricks heading to College Station. Now, take a look at what Mike Elko has done in the portal. One, you take a look at the class ranking, the number 2 transfer portal class in the country, 23 total commitments. And I think I want to focus on this number, that 89.24. You see a lot of programs sometimes take a lot of commitments in the portal, but not necessarily the quality of player, I should say, is not necessarily great. Mike Elko averaging an 89.2 ranking with all these transfers coming in. The quantity is certainly there with 23 commitments, but I think you want to focus on 8 4-stars coming in. The quality is certainly there as well, especially in that cornerback room. You take a look at what they have coming in. And I want to talk about this cornerback room first, right? You have Dez Ricks coming in. That's a massive boost, but Will Lee, a guy that we've talked about, I think has NFL potential. Donovan Sanders coming from Cal Poly, lengthy, athletic cornerback, another guy that I think could be an elite boundary safety. You add Jaden Hill, a veteran that can play that nickel role, BJ Mays. Now you add Dez Ricks. You take a look at that cornerback room with what? That's 5 guys coming in from the portal that all have played at a relatively high level or have a lot of potential. With all that talent, to me, it's hard to see 2 or 3 guys not emerging to being really high-quality starters for this Texas A&M team. They've done a phenomenal job grabbing safeties from the transfer portal as well, and you start scrolling down this list, and there's just a lot of guys to be excited about. Obviously, Nick Skirton coming from Purdue, a guy that we're all really excited about. Scooby Williams, guy that I will continue to say, keep your eye on Scooby Williams, especially moving to that edge rusher position, and you start continuing to scroll down. A lot of boxes being checked. And you look at the overall health of this Texas A&M roster and depth chart heading into 2024 with what they've done in the portal, you're not really sure where the holes are. This is Texas A&M's always been a very top-heavy team, right? They've attracted some elite talent coming from the high school class. But what you've seen in past years, and I think what largely led to Jimbo Fisher and the struggles that he had in College Station, was there wasn't necessarily a complete roster with depth to go along with it. I think that's one thing you're going to see change as Mike Elko gets to College Station. It's going to be a complete roster with not many holes. The player development's certainly going to be there, but the depth of this team is certainly going to be there as well. You look at Mike Elko heading into 2024, and the thing I love most, I'm kind of rambling a little bit, the thing that's most exciting about first-year head coaches taking jobs is they, at the snap of the finger, have the ability to completely transform a roster. And I think that's exactly what Mike Elko has done. He's looked at this roster, has looked at the points where he wants to improve on, the secondary being a massive priority, and he's gone out and made that happen. You look at this Texas A&M team heading into 2024, setting up to be a first successful season for Mike Elko, but the Texas A&M fans have a lot to be excited for. I've been very vocal as a supporter of Mike Elko and what he can do in College Station. We'll wrap it up on that. Dez Ricks, really, really high ceiling cornerback coming in to bolster up what already is an extremely talented and deep cornerback room. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys late night, Tuesday night. We got 11:45 Eastern time. Can't thank you guys enough for rocking with the boys. If y'all do enjoy the content, enjoy the updates, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.